the school section.
Okay.
So, what were your dreams growing up, and what did you aspire to become?
My dream always when I was little, I always wanted to be a teacher. We would play school together, Patty and I just always wanted to be a teacher, always wanted to be a mom. Yeah, that's all I ever wanted to be. I never, and I never was able to go to a 4-year college to get that degree, but I did what I could do. So that's what I always wanted to be. What was the question?
That's it.
Okay.
How did you end up at Small World?
I ended up at Small World. I took classes at Hennepin Technical College for early childhood development. And when Megan, my youngest, I stayed at home with all the kids until Megan went to kindergarten. When Megan went to kindergarten, I landed a job. I don't know how I got this job, but it was so amazing. At Rockford Middle School, where I was in special ed. I worked under a teacher in special ed for a while. Then AOM, Assurance of Mastery, a program came about, and they offered me this job where I would tutor kids in math and reading, help them because they didn't qualify for special ed. So like if Jake had math at fourth hour, I would go to Mr. Voigt's class. I would get Jake, pull him out. He would come into my room and we would work on math together. It was an awesome job, but I worked till, I can't remember, but I worked till 1:30 or 2. I can't remember what time I worked. So Megan, that was half day kindergarten at that time. So I needed someone to take care of Megan just for like an hour. So she went to Sandy Myers, and then right when I got off work, I quick ran over there and picked her up. Yeah. Yeah. So she just did that, and then next year she was in school, and then I had summers off, so I was home with my kids in the summertime. So I was there for 4.5 years or 5 years at Rockford Middle School. Well, then that's when the budget cuts, the schools were all in they didn't have no money, and the referendums weren't passing, and my program got cut, and they did offer me another job, but but at that point, Megan was getting older, and Ron told me, you get a full-time job now. So I would work summers instead of having summers off and running around with my kids and spending a lot of money. So then and then that's how I landed Small World. It was an ad in the paper, and it was right after 4th of July, or no, it was before 4th of July. I went there and I interviewed, and she hired me on the spot, and I started like July 7th, right after the 4th of July. And then I was a preschool teacher. Well, actually, right when I started, I was kind of hopping around, and then I ended up being an executive director, and I kept opening up more centers and did all the licensing paperwork, and I learned a lot from that job. But I loved it. I loved all the teachers. I loved all the parents. I loved the kids. Oh, to this day, I love them all. Yep. So
What do you believe about yourself that helped you become successful in your job?
Learning from other people, and just be strong, and always learning, taking classes. This job entails a lot of education. where there's a lot of continuing education involved in this job. But I would sign up to go, you don't have to do this, but I signed up for many seminars. I went to St. Cloud seminars. I went down south. I would go to Rule 3 directors, Rule 3 update, Minnesota, the DHS licensing. Things are always changing. I would sign up for all of them classes. I would go to all of that stuff. Yeah. And it was fun.
Okay, kids. Why did you decide to have 3 kids?
Because I wanted 3 kids. Dad wanted 2. Two's enough. Okay, so we were gonna be done at 2, and I'm like, oh, I want 3 so bad, and I wanted another girl so bad. And well, I ended up pregnant because I would tell Dad, oh, I won't get pregnant. Oh, I won't get pregnant. Well, I did, and I knew it. It was totally me. Yeah.
What was his reaction?
Oh, he ran to Alina all by himself and got vasectomy right away. I know. So I was so happy. And then, yep, we had our Megan, our smiley, happy Megan. That's all she did was,
I had to convince him.
oh, smile, smile, smile. The best baby ever. And he says it to this day, and I say it to this day too. The happiest kid ever. But, yeah, okay, go on.
What do you remember about when each of us was born?
Laura came out with a cone head, lot bruised up. She was just bruised all over her face. And yeah, I was so thankful. God, I thank God every single day for this child. And Nate, I remember I was 3 weeks overdue, so I know they had my due date wrong, but I was in the hospital 9 days. I'd go, I'd come home, I'd go, I'd come home. They did the gel, they tried everything and we didn't know what we were having. Laura, we thought was a boy. Her name was going to be Andrew. Totally thought it was a boy, but it was a girl. And then Nate, we didn't know what he was going to be, but I was so overdue then. They didn't do ultrasounds and all that back then, but then they did an ultrasound on me. They wanted to measure and see how big this baby was, and they knew he was for sure 8 pounds, and then you could see that he was a boy. And I was so excited. I'm like, we're having a boy. And I called Dad, and oh my gosh, was he happy. And then Megan, when I was pregnant with Megan, so then you know how things get a little more technology, by the time I was pregnant with Megan. So back then, you could have a blood test. Is your child Down syndrome and all this? Well, I did the whole shabam with Megan. And so the blood test, I don't know, it came back, my due date was wrong. That's what it was. The due date was wrong. So then they got the due date right from that blood test. And then I asked about a girl or a boy. And then she told me, well, I shouldn't do this because I could be wrong because it was very, very early. But she said, I'm pretty sure it's a girl. And then so we knew that Megan was going to be a girl. But yeah, that was really, really fun too. And then when Megan came out, she was like perfect. After having the 2 other ones, Megan comes out with this beautiful round head, just perfect, no bruising, no cone head, nothing. Yeah, so pretty.
Were you ever scared to be a parent?
Never. Oh my gosh, no. I wanted to be a parent, never scared. I can't. And I'm sure a lot of people are, but I never was scared. Never. I was in heaven. Oh my gosh. In heaven.
Is there anything you would change about the way that you raised the kids?
Um, well, no, I mean, we did a lot, we did a lot of trips and we did a lot of fun stuff with you kids, but also Dad and I, we also had our fun times together. And we would get sitters quite often. We were involved in a card club and we played volleyball every Friday night. So we had sitters a lot. Yeah, we did a lot. What did we? Well, we played ball, but that I quit doing that earlier. But volleyball was a lot of fun. Then we got on a bowling league with Debbie and Steve. And card club. So we did a lot with our friends. A lot of parties. Friends would come over to our house. We would go over to friends' house with our kids. We always packed up the kids. Come on, let's go. Yeah. I mean, maybe that could have been a little bit more.
Came down a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
What 3 words represented your approach to parenting and why?
What 3 words?
Or describe your parenting style and strategies.
One thing about me is because now that I have kids and I see you, I see Megan, I see Laura, I don't think I had patience like my kids have. Because like if there was a fight or mom, what? Now what? I didn't have a lot of that. Where I see my kids now, yes. And I'm like, wow, that is amazing. Yeah, I do. I see it. And I'll be the first one to, I didn't have a lot of that where I regret that. I just so regret that. Because I hope I didn't well, maybe you guys learned from that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give my kids 100% of my attention, Yeah. Another thing growing up, when you guys were young and going through Salem, all 3 of you going through all the sports and then in high school, that was very, very fun for Dad and I. We loved that. Was really fun watching you guys play. Yeah. And I will never regret sending you guys to where I sended you. Never. Best thing I ever did. I'd do it all over again. And you guys might not agree, but I'm glad. When you guys were young, when you were coming out of Salem, I know what I experienced growing up and I know what I went through. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I never want my children to go through anything like this, what I went through. I want my kids to be protected. I want them to be safe and I want them to be happy. There was no way I would ever have sent you and Laura to Buffalo. Never. I don't know how you guys would have turned out. Scares the crap out of me. I mean, we went through a few things with Nate, but Nate really got into an awesome group of friends. And to this day, they're still friends. Did I tell you they just went out to eat a little while ago? Dylan, Justin Pop, Roger Trunsdale, and yeah.
Roger has a kid that's Lorraine's age.
Yeah. What's his name? George.
George? Oh,
I think it's George.
Popular name.
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
Yeah. Best people ever.
Yeah.
But anyway, so go ahead.
What are you most proud of in life?
My family. You kids. Oh my I'm so proud of you guys. That's like the easiest question ever. Like so undeserving, that God gave me you 3 kids and dad and how you kids turned out and yeah, I am so proud of you guys. I'm really proud of you, Megan. I'm so proud of you. Everything you have went through in your life, and yeah, I'm very proud of you. You really became a strong Rosie. How can you stand letting her lick your feet?
That feels good.
Oh, yeah. So that's an easy question. My kids.
What were the most positive moments of your life?
Positive moments. When I got married, having each one of you guys, every one of you when you guys were born, building our house was so much fun. Oh, that was so much fun, building our house together. Yeah, and my work and I got older, and how I climbed that corporate ladder and got to where I was at the end there, working side by side with AJ, the owner, and yeah, all of those things, yeah.
What are you most thankful for?
My grandkids and you kids, my grandkids. Oh my gosh. It's so weird because when I was younger, I'm like, I'm never going to be a grandma. I'm never going to be a grandma. And I think, why did I even think of that? I have 3 children. Why would I ever think of that? But I did. I wanted to be a mom so bad, but then I wanted to be a grandma so bad. Yeah, and then God gave me Jacob, and then it just kept going.
What message would you like to share with your family?
Stay close together every day. Always stay close. That's it. Don't get mad at somebody. If you don't like when someone does something or something someone said, yes, that might hurt you, or might hurt you, but talk to that person about it. Tell them how that made you feel. Talk to them and then forgive, and then that'll make your relationship stronger.
Do you have any advice? And maybe that was your advice, but any advice for me, Nathan, or Laura?
Yeah, just stay close to one another. And like I said, marriage isn't easy. There's no perfect marriage. You're always going to get angry at your spouse. And just, like I said, talk it out and forgive and move on. And maybe sometimes, you know what? You and I, let's go do this. Just us. Let's do this. Or, yeah, I don't know. Ouch.
What message do you have for your grandchildren?
To always be truthful. Don't be a follower. Be strong. Your faith is strong. Rely on God. Fall back on God if you have problems. Being a teenager is not easy. It's hard. Kids can be mean. Don't be one of those kids. Go away. If someone's talking bad about someone, don't, or tell them the right way to be, or walk away. Don't get involved in that, in the drama and the gossip and talking mean about people. Don't get involved in that. And always love your siblings and take care of them and watch out for them. And yeah, and don't lie to your parents. Tell them the truth. Of course, you're going to hide things from them at times, but it's better to be truthful.
How has your view on God changed over time? Is there anything that shifted your view?
Yeah, when I got cancer, when I was diagnosed with cancer, brought me a lot closer to God. And I'm not one of those, like, I know I've told you and I've told others that I'm very thankful. I'm still so thankful. Everything God has done for me and gave me. Now He gave me cancer. I am not angry about this one bit. I am thankful. I think it has brought my kids closer. It has brought me closer to God and as a family.
What are some values you hold? Family values, doing things as a family. Oh, when Dad and I, when you guys were younger, when we our first came, well, even tenting, and those were such fun times. Doing things as a family, going camping together, and yeah, just doing things as a family. So fun. Oh my gosh. We're almost done.
Okay, good.
Is there anything you regret?
Yes. I regret, one thing I do regret, you're the youngest child. And I think about this often. And being the third child, I feel like sometimes you didn't get as much as Laura and Nate did because you were the last one. Oh yeah, I feel that way sometimes. And then I also I just feel like sometimes, and the reason why I feel this way is because I watch some of our old video movies. And like one time we were up, I don't know, we were in this swimming thing. It was up on the North Shore somewhere, I don't know. And you were little, I don't know if you were 6 or something like that. And, Laura, Katie, and they all had friends, but you were always by yourself. And I'm like, Megan, go. She's not going to stand there forever. And I think I was impatient. Yeah, I was. And I see that in those tapes and I'm like, gosh, I was mean. So I really, really regret seeing these things as I'm older now. And I'm like, oh gosh, I should have been more patient with Megan. And Megan was always, you talked all the time. You never were quiet, Megan. You never were. And maybe sometimes I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. But anyways, that is one thing I do regret is more patience with you. Laura and Nate, nothing really, nothing. But that's one thing I do regret. I always feel that way. And being the third child, a lot of times I know families that happens. But it didn't happen like taking pictures, because I got as many pictures of you as the little one as Laura, and keeping up with, I don't know, baby book and just things like that, I know, yeah, so. But otherwise, I that's one thing I do regret.
What did you find the most beautiful about life?
Most beautiful about life.
Well, again, my family and my kids, but also when you talk about beautiful, um, um, the flowers blooming in spring. I love spring. And I'm so excited this warm weather coming and seeing everything have new life and new growth. And you can go outside and feel the fresh air on your face and look at all the flowers and trees budding. And that's what I love. And gardening, watching your garden bloom and and produce.
Where's that emotion coming from?
What?
What? Why are you feeling emotional about talking about spring?
Well, because I don't know if I'll see it. I think I will see it. I think I'll see things bloom. But I've just been very, very sick now. Yesterday and today, very sick. So, yeah, I'm just emotional because I'm so sick, but I'll be better. So, I'm fine.
Is there anything you'd still like to do in your life?
Yeah, I would like to take one more nice trip with the whole family, get a nice big house. I'm just so sad that you could not, Megan and Josh could not come with to the Florida house. It was just such a memory that everybody is going to hold so close. They're never going to forget that vacation ever. They're never going to forget it. And I'm just so sad that you guys missed out on that as a family. I'm so sad. So I want to do one big, big vacation like that again, where we have lots of excursions and you and Josh can be a part of it. That would be really fun. I want to do that. Yeah, so.
Is there anything else that you want to share? Or that you want to be included in the video?
No, I think that's good.
Okay.
I love you. I love you all.